Okay, we are going to do the last viva of the night, and then I'm going to do the other two later in the week. So this is week 8's question, and am I upside down? Whoops. Okay, this is week 8's question, and it is, how did the British Empire shape the modern world? So, there was a long 19th century, 1789 to 1914, and the British Empire was on fire. In 1789, Washington becomes the president, and then in 1914, there's World War I. Britain thrives after the American colonies break up with them, as we kind of talked about last week. They, when you break up with somebody, it's all about you, and you gotta work hard and be your own person. So that's what Britain does. And they create this global culture through language and international trade. So, although the British Empire was not perfect and had flaws, it ultimately led to the creation of today's world as we know it. We can see this through culture, politics, and trade. So, let's dive on into our first point of our viva. So, culture. You can see how the British Empire really affects today through the culture. So, language is 20% speak English are in different countries. Are in 60 different countries. I'm not yawning. There were sports such as rugby, American football, and baseball. And then we have the arts, Shakespeare, J.R. Tolkien, the Beatles. And we have technology and science. We have the Industrial Revolution, leading the nation, and we have food such as fish and chips, toad in the hole, and a sandwich. We also have our famous tea. Henry James, I hate myself, says there are few hours in life more agreeable than the hour dedicated to the ceremony known as afternoon tea. British people were big into their tea, so we really can see the culture throughout, all these things, but tea is, one of the biggies. And if let's talk a little bit about the tea. So we know that tea is Britain because of the British Tea Party. They had this addiction to tea, and that's why the Americans dressed up as Indians, and they went and dumped it all out. Because we broke up with them. Since the 18th century, though, the UK is one of the world's greatest tea consumers on the planet. An average English person, I swear I'm only yawning in these videos. The average English person, consumes about 41 pounds of tea per year. That's a lot of tea. If you count up 41 pounds, that's a lot of tea. So in 1662, Queen Catherine, she was a Portuguese queen, and she started to drink tea, and everybody saw that, and they were like, oh my gosh, she's so cool, she's so pretty, and they were like, we better start drinking tea. So they started getting tea from China, and they started drinking tea, and then they all became addicted, and now we all give tea the culture of England and Europe, not to China, which is where it's from. So that's interesting. Our second point is the politics. The European Empire really shaped our politics that we have today. The Commonwealth, maybe I'm nervous or something. The Commonwealth was a political association that was in 60 different countries, including the British Empire and its colonies. And they stood for the political and cultural reasons as well as the athletic competition. The Westminster, so we have that, we have the Commonwealth, and then we have the Westminster was a model of a parliamentary school system. Parliamentary system. And this is really contrast to the American system that we have, our American presidential system. They had parliament, we have a president. They also had human rights. Evangelistic. I don't know what's wrong with me. Evangelistic Anglicans fought the injustice of slavery around the world by using the British Navy. Now my eyes are watery. What is happening to me? I don't know what is happening. The leaders of the British Navy kind of helped stop slavery around the world, and they were called the Clapham sect. This sect included William Bradford. I'm literally crying. This is so weird. Henry Thornton and John Wren. So a lot of people were members of this parliament. These are just kind of three of the main. This is a quote from Michelle Twosome, and it is, quote, "The British considered it a imperial responsibility to enforce what we now understand as universal standard of human rights," end quote. And so we can see human rights, the human rights are natural rights as life, liberty, and property. So that's what they wanted to protect, and that's what they did protect. And so they played a huge role in politics today and back then. I am literally crying. Like, what the heck is this? Okay, this is getting weird. My third and final point, and then I'm gonna go cry apparently, is the trade. During the British Empire, trade impacted today's world. So it created a powerful naval force, which allowed of a stronger, more stable trading world for the first time in history. Wait, where's my quote? I said tea quote. I don't know where my tea quote is. Maybe I meant, well, we talked about tea a little bit earlier, so they traded a lot of tea. And then they also, no, that's not about tea. I don't know why it's about tea. Anyways, tea was a big deal, and so was cuisine, especially the spices. The Eastern India Company helped bring 1 million pounds of pepper, and it was really just supply and demand, versus China and India. I think I kind of talked about this last Viva too, with just China kind of giving India their spices and their tea, so that India could trade with Britain, because India was a part of the British colonies and China was not, and so Britain wanted tea and spices. So Dr. Parker says, quote, "The international trade not only spread a love of tea," this is the tea quote. "The international trade not only spread a love of tea around the world, it established an early vision of the globalized trade in commodities that shaped our modern world today," end quote. So the British Empire really did have a lot of impacts. They broke up with America, and that made them strong and mighty like a boss, and they were able to give it back to the world and really impact the modern world that we have today. They did this through trade, or through culture, through politics, and through trade. Alright, thank you, Sarah, for watching this. I'm sorry, I don't know. Do you see this? I'm literally crying. I don't know what happened to me, but I'm going to go not cry and not sneeze. I mean, not sneeze. What did I do? Yawn. I'm not gonna yawn. Thank you, Dr. Parker, for the sweet comments. I really appreciate them. Okay, see you guys next time on Lives Vivas. I will see you guys probably tomorrow and Saturday because I'm behind. Okay, bye.